Hello, this is the video for the first project of DSN 210 Online. You've already opened up your Photoshop program and you've reset the desktop. You've also downloaded your files for the first project, and you've opened up the zip folder and you know where to find them. So let's go find one first. We're going to open George, File, Open, and open George. First thing we're going to do is rename it. Open, save as, and put your initials on it. Hyphen your initials. It's saving in the same folder. That's okay. It's saving as a JPEG, maximum quality, baseline optimized. That's okay too. Let's look at the size under Image, Image Size, and see that it's 920 pixels wide by 1100 pixels tall. That's small for one of our projects, but it's what we're going to use for this first one. Okay. Go over here to the Layers panel and note that George little icon thumbnail is there, and the word background and a lock and an eye. We're going to double click right here in this space and change that to layer 0. Now we can move that up or down when we have multiple layers in here, which is what we're going to get next. Let's open up our second layer. That will be the flag. Double click, and there's flag. Move it over to the side. Go to the Move tool here. Go back to flag and drag it over to George. Back to flag. Close it up. Note that flag was a lot bigger than George. We're going to now get flag down to the right size. I'm going to use the shortcut key, Control minus. Hit it a couple of times so that it's quite small on the page. Then I'm going to go to Edit, Free Transform. I could have used the shortcut Control T. You can see that it's here. And I get some handles that I can adjust. You can scale it by grabbing a corner handle and holding the Shift key down. I can reduce it in proportion, and I can move it by moving it anywhere but this little spot in the center, which is the rotational point, which is what we're going to do next. Go outside the image and rotate it. Hold the Shift key down and it will rotate in specific degrees. Shift key down again, reduce the size. You can use the arrow keys to move it around. And when you get it the way you want it, double click inside and you're there. We're going to flip it now so that the blue part is over where it belongs. Edit, Transform, Flip horizontal. There we go. Going to scoot it over a little bit more. And hit Control plus to zoom back up. Note that you have layer 1 now and layer 0. You can move them around back and forth. I'm going to grab layer 0 and move it to the top. Layer 0 is highlighted, layer 1 is highlighted. Now layer 0 is highlighted again. Let's adjust George a little bit. Image, Adjustments, Levels. By moving these 3 triangles here, you can lighten or darken him. And hit OK or cancel. You can also image adjust, change the color with hue and saturation. There are other controls in adjustments. In fact, a lot of them. We'll get to some of those later. Another way to adjust the look of an image is to change the layer modes. You can only do this on a layer that has layers below it. So let's move layer 1 above layer 0, have layer 1 highlighted, and change the layer modes. Right now it's at normal. This group darkens. They do it differently, different ways, you can see. This group lightens. You can see what it does. This group and this group do odd things. You're just going to have to check them out to see what they do. This group lightens part and darkens part. Just experiment with these and see if you find one that's interesting. I'm going to leave this one at hard light. I could change the opacity of that layer to have a different look. Okay. So, save your file. Note that it goes over to the Save As rather than merely Save, because you're changing it to a Photoshop format because the original JPEG format doesn't support layers. That's perfectly fine. You'll have the JPEG and you'll have the Photoshop versions in your folder.